Hi guys, welcome to a new video and a new series on programming with Python. So in this series I'll be teaching you how to program on Python, as it's a very useful programming language to learn, especially if you want to do processing, make games, control electronics with the Arduino and the Raspberry Pi. It's all around very useful program to get used to, and if you can basically make any program and do anything you want with it. So to start, you just want to go to the Python website, just type in Python into Google, click on the first thing you see, and you should direct you to this. You just want to go to downloads and then just download to Windows, and you can press Python 3.6.4. So once you've downloaded that, you can get it, just run and then install it, the setup and stuff. And once you've installed it, I will be using modules in the later videos, but for now you don't have to worry about downloading anything else. You just want to make you can make a folder. It's easier to put it in a folder, but you just want to make a file called script or anything you want to call it, but it has to be a Python file with the extension .py, so that's how you know it's a Python file. So you just want to edit with IDLE, which is basically a standard script edit that comes with Python. You can get other Python editors, but this is the standard one that comes with it. So this is what it looks like from the outside. If you just run it if you just type in Python in your search bar, it will come up with Python. And then it'll come like this, which you don't want. You just wanna edit it from the actual folder. So programming with Python, you want to actually go to thing. So the simplest program you can do in this language is print, and then you just use curly brackets, and then two speech marks, and then you just write anything like hello world and module. Then you want to save it. There you go. It just prints hello world. That's the most standard, probably the same thing in every single other programming language. It just says print, and you can do that with anything. You can print anything you want and just go that. And you can just type anything like this. You can save it, run module, it prompts you to save, and it will just run like this. Now, this is not all you can do. You can make variables by just giving it a name, like variable, and you can just put equal sign. This means a sign. In programming languages, the equal sign means a sign. And then you can just give it a single number value, integer, or a string. So if you give it a string, it can be like hello world. Now you've created a variable. You can print this variable by doing print, but without the speech marks. You can just type in the variable name, and it'll print this variable out. So run module. Here we go, look, hello world. That's the basic print command. That's how you generate variables. So from here you can make other things, like if you want to increment the variable by 1, then you do variable plus then equals 1, and you can do that with 10, so it increments by 10. Just do 1, but then you want to assign the variable first to about 0. So you do print. If you want to print the variable off, print variable, and then you add 1 to the variable, so you print it again. Now it should say 0 and then 1 because it's added 1 to it. so it should say that. Now, if you don't want to like keep on writing out script to add one every time, you can make a for loop or a while loop. While, so you just want to write while, and in your variable, while variable is smaller than 10. This basically means if variable is smaller than 10, it will keep on looping around. You just want to put a colon and then press enter, and it should give you like this increment from the actual back. So that's basically how Python knows that you're inside of a while loop or for loops or if loops or whatever. Is just if you you press tab and it will create this like increment into indentation. So that's basically how Python knows that you're inside a while loop. So then once you're in this indentation, you want to say variable, you just want to increase variable by 1, so you just want to go variable is 1, and you can just print out variable. So this will basically print all the integers up to 10. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's the simplest like program. You can just make this 20 and it'll print up to 20. Like that. That's not all you can do. You can print it, so if you make this further back, you can do an if function. This basically is like if variable is equal to something, or it just basically checks for a variable to be within some arguments. So you do if variable, which is your thing, if variable divided by 2 is variable divided by 2 integer, so that basically makes an integer, because if variable is odd and you divide it by 2, it'll make it into a floating point number, which means it's got a decimal point in it. So if you put it integer, it'll round the number up to the nearest thing. And if you do, like, to make sure it actually does work, you just put minus 0.1 just to check it does, and then you can just do if this equals this equals variable minus 0.1. Now if you minus 0.1, it'll just like round it down. So this should actually work, as you just put colon and then you just put an indentation, that way it knows that this is inside the if statement, and this should work. And it doesn't. Equals variable. That should work. Oh no, it didn't work. So that's just variable. So it should give that thing, and if it doesn't, then it shouldn't print out. Now that normally works, but it doesn't seem to work. Yeah, so you can basically just write programs. I don't know why it's not working. But you can write basically anything you want. Now, if you want there's a different way of looping something. You can use the for loop, which you can do for I, which is just I can be anything. It can be like D or C. It can be any word. For I in range. So for loops, basically they go through a list of numbers as I. So I would be like, if you had a list of multiples of 5, then I would keep on going up in 5s until it goes through the whole thing. But basically range is like a function which generates a list between the two arguments you give it. So it's a built-in function that Python has, but you can give it two arguments to start from 0 and go to 10, which basically creates a list in this parameter. Like, it returns a list of 0 to 10 numbers. So, and then the for loop like cycles through all those numbers and sets them as I. So you can just print you print I. You don't need this variable anymore because you don't actually have to store anything. Because once you say for I, it generates the variable I. So once you've done that, yeah. So because Python always starts from 0, it will always be the one less than this actual number here. So if you want to actually get 0 to 10, then you want to do 11. And then that will give you 0 to 10. It's just the way that the function works. So that basically gives you a range between 0 and 1. Now there's other things you can do with this. You can do variable. You can do a string of some letters. So if you just create a string of like Leo 188, yeah. And then if you want to cycle through all these letters, you do for I in range. You know how many letters this is. So do 0 to 6, and you just decode on. And then you just do print variable, but this is not going to print variable because you don't want this to print the whole variable. You want to print part of it, so you put square brackets, which basically means you can get the separate characters inside the variable. So square brackets and then I. So that basically cycle through each letter of variable. So I will be like, if I is 0, then it will get L because that's the first letter, and if I is 1, then it'll get E, and if I is 2, then it'll get O, if I is 3, then it'll get 1. So it'll basically cycle through and just print each individual letter like this. There we go. That's basically all the simple programs. Now, our first like proper program is gonna be like a password sort of program. So what you want to do, this involves an actual user input towards the function. So you can call this variable anything you want, but you just call it like attempt. This is basically what you type in, and you just want to set it as input. This means you can actually type in stuff through the console that appears when you run the program. So then you need an if statement, and you want to check if attempt is the same as whatever you want to do. So you want to create a string and then type in your password. So this is going to be simple, Leo188 or whatever. You can set this to anything you want. You can set it so once you're inside of once you've got past password, you can actually change the password within this. Probably do that next episode, but you can just go inside the indentation, and if attempt is if it actually equals the password, then you can go print, and then you can do any message to say correct. But I'll say, well done, you passed. Now I'll just print out the simple thing. So if you want it, so if they don't get it right, then it should say a message. Then you do else, which means if the top if is false. So if the if statement just checks with if this bit is false or true, because you can just set this to a standard variable and set the variable to true or false, and it will still run. And else, you just enter the indentation of else, and this is basically if is false, it will print something out. So this is going to be it's going to print a message to say that it's incorrect, and it'll say, oi, this is not your computer, because they probably have just tried to hack into someone's computer or something. If you run this command to save it, then you have to type in something. So like you can print, if we do this and do print, like enter your password, so they actually know what to do. Like that. So enter your password, and then they know that you've got to type in your password. So like if you do the right password, like Leo188, yes, well done, you passed. Then you can go on to whatever thing you want to show them, whatever, secret files, whatever. And then if some hacker's trying to get into your computer, tries a thing, like some random passcode that's clearly not the password, then it says, oh, this is not your computer, and that's basically your simple password program. So like to get into any new files and stuff. So that's basically it for this episode on programming with Python. I will be doing more episodes on this series. I'll probably make a playlist of this. So on the next episode I'm going to be doing functions and methods. So yes, so hope you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't, and subscribe for more videos, and like and comment below for any more suggestions.